Well, good afternoon. We're going to talk about the new coldwellbanker.com. Now, many of you probably are like, well, I thought we already had a new coldwellbanker.com. I thought Zap retired last year. I thought all this already happened. Well, yes, but no. So coldwellbanker.com did relaunch last year for the main page when it comes to consumers going to coldwellbanker.com and seeing things like the move meter, the seller's insurance page, all of that information. This was all new last year. You are not wrong there. What is changing now is anything that was fed over from the Zap platform. So we were told, and we know Zap retired. We're no longer getting leads via Zap. Your agents might be getting leads via Leads Engine that still say Zap because it's coming from coldwellbanker.com. Zap is still there. It is retired. It is still there though. So just so that you are aware, it won't be there any longer past April 24th, 5 days away. It's actually retiring on April 24th. So right now, this is the new coldwellbanker.com that we've known it since last year. But if you go in to find an agent, and let's just pick on Westlake, Ohio. And hi, Nicole. Hi, if you guys are on, Diane, Corinne. And you see these agents here, this is still the Zap platform. This is still being fed over from our websites that our agents were able to customize over on Zap. It's all of the great testimonials that our agents were able to send to their consumers to get for their Zap sites. So technically speaking, this is still Zap. This is what will update come April 24th. When the consumer goes from the main page, which did relaunch, over to the, we'll say, back end when it comes to the agents and all their profiles and the office profiles, like this one, that's what's all going to be redone as of April 24th. That's the launch date. The good news here is because of the Moxie migration that we just went through, there should be very little that we have to do, but it's always good just to double check. So let's go over what some things that we do know, and we'll give you some tasks. So between now and the 24th, you'll be able to check to make sure that your agents have the information that they need, because it all will filter through Dash. You've heard that a lot lately, right? With the Moxie migration, it has to be updated in Dash. And we know for us, it has to be updated in Account Tech because that feeds Dash. The good news is here, it's going to be the same process for Coldwell Banker. So agents used to have to go to Moxie and update their headshots and their profile and their contact information and their social media. And then they used to have to go into Desk to get to Zap to update as well. No more. We are streamlining this, which is fantastic news. So we update Account Tech, it feeds Dash, it'll feed their Moxie sites, which they still have further customization available, but it's also going to feed their new profile page, and that's the terminology we're using, their new profile page on coldwellbanker.com. So I'm going to go through a little bit of an FAQ, a frequently asked question document. Let me show you where you yourselves can get this in case you want to print it out for your agents, share it to them, give it to your manager to have them cover in a lunch and learn or at a sales meeting. So we're going to jump over to Desk. So not sure that we have a fresh breeze and warm sun here in the north. The sun's out, granted, but it is still quite chilly. But anyway, very friendly. Desk is very friendly. It always says good morning and always says good afternoon. So from here, you're going to go over to the left where it says marketing, and you're going to go to where it says advertising. For here, you can see the advertising and seller strategy campaign, which they're keeping the dream campaign, which is fantastic. Love it. Any of that information is there. We have dream poster assets here. So if your agents are looking for content, send them to Desk, lots of content. But what we're going to talk about right now is our coldwellbanker.com redesign. And the document that I have here is the same document that you can launch from here. So you click that link, making sure my version's the same and then it changed anything on me. But yes, in fact, as of March 31st. So what does some of this mean? So we all know what coldwellbanker.com is, right? We've all been operating with it. We've all had it for a long, long time. The good news is that the brand understood that as good as Zap was 7 years ago when it launched, it's just old technology now. And there's so much changing. There's so much in technology that every day changes and updates. So the brand wants to stay on the cutting edge as well, which we do too, right? We launched Moxie 2 years before they did. So we definitely stay on the cutting edge. So that's what it is. It's the national brand website. They're doing a complete design and functionality overhaul. So this will help enhance our SEO, our site engine optimization strategy. And of course, just have the best in class consumer experience. We don't want them going to Zillow or realtor.com. We want them going to coldwellbanker.com. So again, like we just stated, Zap is just older technology and it's retiring. And I promise as of April 24th, you'll probably, hopefully, knock on wood, never hear me say the word Zap again. So it impacts all of us. We are affiliates. All of our brands, Michigan, Ohio, Florida, are all Coldwell Banker affiliates. So it impacts all of us. It impacts our agents, our office profiles, and our brokerage profiles. So you can see right here, it's currently in development. It's been in development. It's been beta tested in other markets, not ours. So I haven't any feedback on that, but it is been beta tested. So that's a good news. And right there's our date, April 24th. So what information will be available? Like we stated, this right here, if you go into an agent, we'll pick on Tracy out of Ohio. This is their Zap website. They would log into Zap via desk. They could go into their website. They could change that cover photo. They could change their headshot. They could change their area served. They could change a video. They could do all of this going away. They don't have to do that anymore. So what's going to happen is this is going to turn into a profile page. Every agent will still have a profile page. Every office will, and us as a brokerage will as well. Well, by Dash ID. So Michigan will have one, Ohio will have 2, Florida will have 4. So it is based on that Dash ID, but all of that content will come over. So it'll be a profile page and all of that's going to feed from Dash. And this is what's going to be available on the new website. We keep the IDX property search. All of our MLSs that are attached today, they're attached to coldwellbanker.com already. They're attached to Moxie already. All of that stays. Fully functional search website for our consumers. And again, the websites go away, replaced by the agent profile pages. Same thing with team. Teams will have profile pages on coldwellbanker.com. And like we just mentioned, brokerage profile pages along with office profile pages as well. We'll have all that great content, which we already are seeing on the Moxie side of it now that we migrated, but it'll all be replicable on coldwellbanker.com. National brand content, dream campaign information, the move meter, the CB estimate, the seller insurance program, all of that great content to help drive listings will be available on our agents' profile pages. Talks a little bit about the robust digital media campaign. Once this launches on April 24th, I wouldn't be surprised if they give it a few days to let the glitches work out. They're going to do a robust digital marketing campaign to highlight the new site. So you've heard us say it a lot. It's the Zap Retirement and Moxie Works. Do you need to manually deactivate your Zap sites? Nope. All going away for you and your agents. Nothing that you have to do. All of the URLs, which I'm sure you've had agents reach out and they're like, what is this? It's coldwellbankerrealestate.com/blah, blah, blah. All of that will stay there. All of that will be redirected to their profile page on coldwellbanker.com. One of the good things that Zap did bring to us was SEO. If you Googled your agent's name, their Coldwell Banker site, because of the national and international branding behind it, popped pretty high in the search results. Those URLs are going to stay there. They're going to completely point over to the new profile page on coldwellbanker.com. So good news there. Nothing changes before the 24th. If you go there today, tomorrow, the 23rd at midnight, nothing's going to look different. It's all happening on the 24th. So be aware of that. The Zap did go to read only. As of today, you can still get into Zap. I changed a headshot just yesterday. So it is functional. There's no need. We're 5 days out. So just know that it is there, but it's going to be retired. The agents will not have to worry about keeping that secondary platform updated at all. And again, like we just mentioned, all of the URLs will forward from the current state over to the new profile pages for agents, offices, brokerages. They will not redirect from Moxie. So the coldwellbanker.com will not point to the agent's Moxie website. However, the functionality we do have is the ability in Account Tech, which feeds Dash, to put the agent's Moxie URL. Whether they bought a GoDaddy vanity URL or a Google domain and it's isellotsofhouses.com, they can put that into account tech in the URL box. That'll feed Dash, that'll feed their profile page on coldwellbanker.com, but it will not redirect. No consumer is going to go to coldwellbanker.com, find the agent name, click on it, and it will go to Moxie. It'll load their profile page in which they can put that content in there, their headshots, their contact info, their bio. Current state, there will not be any integration between MoxieWorks and coldwellbanker.com outside of Leads Engine. So any leads coming from coldwellbanker.com go through Leads Engine, like we know, and those do go into Moxie Engage as a lead. So technically it's not an integration. Moxie websites are not feeding coldwellbanker.com, but leads coming through will go through Leads Engine, will end up in the agent's Moxie Engage. So good news there. Will we have agent reviews on coldwellbanker.com like we do today? So if we go back over to Tracy, we'll go back just one page. We know that all these stars, which we talked about forever, get your Zap reviews, you'll show up higher. That was all great at the time, but that's kind of gone away. So because we knew Zap was going away a year ago, that's when we launched Testimonial Tree. That's why we took matters in our own hands. We launched Testimonial Tree. We knew it was fully integratable, not only to Moxie, but also .loop and app files. And we started highly encouraging the agents to get their great testimonials and reviews out of Zap into Testimonial Tree. Guess what, guys? They have 5 days left. If they want that content, they need to do it now. They need to get that moved over. But keep in mind, we've been telling them this for a very long time now, so it should be moved over. Now, the plan is with the new coldwellbanker.com is to not have a review section. Consumer will find Tracy or Brandon or Lucy on coldwellbanker.com. They'll look at their profile. If they click the link to their website, they'll then go outside of Coldwell Banker to Moxie. And if the agent has chosen to put their testimonial tree information on there, that's where they can go to leave a testimony. Now, I won't be surprised if a year or two down the road after coldwellbanker.com has gone through this redesign and refresh, if they don't come up with some sort of testimonial review system. But as of the launch on April 24th, that will no longer be available via coldwellbanker.com. But fret not, we have Testimonial Tree up and running. Agents, of course, always have the option of using Zillow or Realtor.com as well. So that will be not on coldwellbanker.com anymore. CBC Worldwide relaunched. So coldwellbanker.com is relaunching. It's a completely separate platform from CBC Worldwide. It's a completely different platform from coldwellbankerluxury.com. It's a completely different platform from Coldwell Banker International Worldwide as well. The good news is it's all fed from Dash. So if you are on CBC Worldwide, because that actually did launch, we're not waiting for April 24th for that. Oop, wrong link, CBC Worldwide. This went through a relaunch. It has nothing to do with coldwellbanker.com. They did that on their own. It's completely driven for commercial and property management, and it's a completely different platform. So none of the coldwellbanker.com stuff will affect it. The good news is it all comes from Dash. We update Dash. If you have a commercial agent that does residential or vice versa, updates both platforms independently of each other. So that's great news there. Something we announced a while back was one of the great things, if you remember, about Zap was the Zap app. Not only was it fun to say, it was very consumer friendly. But what we've learned through all of the smartphone technology and just the way consumers operate, apps are kind of going away. It's mobile responsiveness, which is the important part. So coldwellbanker.com is going to be completely mobile responsive, just like our Moxie sites have been since we launched with them in early 2020. So today, if the consumer had the old Zap app, coldwellbanker.com app on their phones as of April 4th, so we're past that by 15 days, they got a note directing them over to coldwellbanker.com because it's completely mobile responsive. So no app right now for coldwellbanker.com. Again, mobile responsive is the wave of the future. The plans for maybe a future app are being evaluated. But right now, none of that's going to happen. So just know that that app, which was driven by Zap, did go away on April 4th. Consumers are being pointed coldwellbanker.com via their mobile search features, whether it's Google or Safari or whatever it may be that they operate. So keep in mind, we are here in Desk. We went to marketing and we went to advertising, and we pulled down those FAQs that I just went through, which is here. It's 3 pages, not overwhelming by any means. So pull those down, read through them, let us know what questions you or your agents might have, and we'll all be ready for this on April 24th. Now let me check real quick. I forgot to open my chat. No questions so far. So we're giving a minute. I have one more thing to talk about. So while I log into Dash, which is all our favorite things to do, right? Let me know if you have any questions while I get in here real quick.
Is mobile responsiveness, is that just like your desktop version that works in your browser?
Yep, it looks exactly the same on your
Okay.
computer as it does on your phone, only
So
the
you would use like Safari.
correct. The formatting on your
now.
cell phone then is super user friendly. So as opposed to your desktop where, you know, it's portrait, I'm sorry, it's horizontal. So it's this way on your phone, the website knows you're accessing it through a phone and it makes it completely viewable in the phone format. That's what it means by mobile responsiveness. It's a great question. Sometimes when I load websites, I actually prefer them on the mobile version as opposed to the desktop, because a lot of developers make them mobile responsive before they even do the desktop, because that's where everybody goes to, right? You're always on your mobile device. You're not always on your desktop. So Dash, here we are again, Dash. We all know Account Tech feeds Dash though. So all of the changes you want to make are going to be in Account Tech, but they do have to feed Dash. And I want to show you Dash because it makes a big difference when it comes to troubleshooting. You may be putting them in Account Tech, you may be submitting, and then you move on to the next thing. If there's a submission error, which Jessica knows a lot about, if there's a business rules violation, if that doesn't get to Dash, it'll never get to Moxie, it'll never get to coldwellbanker.com, and it'll never get to cbcworldwide.com. So before we enter a ticket, we need to see where in that chain was broken. So always want to check Dash, and then that will help us, because if it's in Account Tech and it's in Dash, but it's not on Moxie, we go to the Moxie help desk. If it's in Account Tech and it's in Dash, but not on coldwellbanker.com, we go to the Coldwell Banker help desk. If it's in Account Tech and in Dash, but not on CBC Worldwide, we go to the CBC Worldwide help desk. So you can see that there's always things here that will help us troubleshoot. So this information for us has to go into Account Tech, but it does feed over to Dash. And we do need to ultimately check our work in Dash to make sure that it is being filled in. Now, we all know that we've done a lot of training in Account Tech. We'll be doing more, but for our purposes today, I did want to jump into Dash. We'll pull up an agent, and since we're already picking on Tracy, we might as well stick with it. Except for she's not coming up.
She was in Ohio. You're in.
Oh, I launched my Michigan. Oh, I must be in Michigan Dash. You're right. We'll pick on the other Mauer that we have in Michigan. So one of the good things is, I'm actually shocked it's this smooth because it never is, right? But we all learned when it came to our Moxie migration that bios disappeared unless they were put into your personal profile. There's a lot of options when it comes to remarks and Account Tech, and then in Dash, it has to be personal profile in order to feed Moxie. The great news is they made the fantastic decision that that's the exact same profile, that exact same bio type that will also feed coldwellbanker.com. So the good news is it'll feed both, but we have to get it there. So in Dash, let me get rid of this chat box. In Dash, you'll see that there are a lot of remark types, right? There's awards, there's credentials, there's qualifications, there's the welcome message, which yes, that was what fed Zap. We were all trained to do that. Not the case anymore. This is our winner chicken dinner right here, our personal profile. This is an option in Account Tech. When you go to the Web Basics page, your remark type, personal profile. It'll feed Dash. That will then feed their Moxie sites. It'll then feed their coldwellbanker.com profile pages that are launching on April 24th. Fantastic news. They actually wrote some coding that makes sense to us. So good news there, personal profile. That is the bio that feeds Moxie and will feed coldwellbanker.com. Other things that will come over for our agent profile pages on coldwellbanker.com is, of course, their name, is their media, their profile photo, their headshot, if you will, their mobile number, business number, email, of course, their URL, which we know can be their Moxie. It can be a third-party vendor if they choose. It can be a vanity email that they purchase on Google Domain or on GoDaddy or Network Solutions or some of the other ones. Social media links, again, put them into Account Tech. Account Tech will feed Dash. Dash will feed both Moxie and ColdwellBanker.com. Keep in mind, I know they're saying they're feeding, but they are two separate platforms. So data goes Account Tech to Dash, and then it splits off and it feeds Moxie and it feeds ColdwellBanker.com. Again, their agent bio is that personal profile. That's what has to be entered in order to feed the sites. Offices are also fed from Dash. We've been working to try to update that content. We've learned a lot. For example, in Ohio, some of our URLs, we're still reading CB Hunter, which went away a good 5-6 years ago, I think. So once we launch on April 24th and you see something that doesn't belong, it's old information, check Dash. A lot of times we can't even update that. We have to go through our brand ambassadors, our what do they call these days? Account managers, Paula Law, Michigan, Ohio, Jeannie Singleton, Florida. They actually have to do the updating for us. So don't hesitate to reach out. Shoot me a screenshot. I'll coordinate with them if you want. No problem there, but do know that that is feeding all from Dash. I do see a comment, so let me go ahead and open that. Yes, Sharon, thank you for bringing that up because it's a known issue. So CBC Worldwide launched, like we mentioned, and to Sharon's point, some agents disappeared. They're marked in Dash correctly as commercial because they were marked in Account Tech. They have all the access they're supposed to have. You go to CBC Worldwide and they're not there. Send an email and I'll type it in the chat box because this happened to me just yesterday and it was fixed overnight. In fact, they fixed it before they even responded back to the ticket. help@cbcworldwide.com. What I like to do in that particular case, especially because it is a new site, it's going to be glitchy. They're probably getting inundated. What I do is I come over here to Dash. Whenever I operate with the help desk at Coldwell Banker, I do go into Dash. I don't send them screenshots from Account Tech, but I'll actually screenshot this whole front header here. I get in their name, their person ID, their activeness, and then their whole name, and I screenshot that and I send that over and I say, hey, they're marked properly in Dash. They're not showing up on CBC Worldwide. Please help. And that's how you're able to help your agents get back on there. In order for them to show up on CBC Worldwide, let me go into update this person. We know in Account Tech, you have to mark them as residential and commercial or just commercial if they're standard commercial. On the positions page, they have to be checked marked here, but then secondarily, and this is only a step you can do in Dash, you can't do any of the security settings in Account Tech. You have to come to Security tab, scroll to where it says CBC Desk, and make sure they have Office Professional status. Not only does it give them the status to get into CBC Desk for all the great commercial tools, that also helps show them on the commercial CBC Worldwide website. So yep, known issue, CBC Worldwide relaunched. It's a beautiful new website, very sleek, very nice looking, but there are glitches. We've had listings go missing. We've had agents go missing. Please check the help or please check your Dash settings first, and then don't hesitate to reach out to the help desk, but check those settings first, because if they're not right, we fix them. And then by overnight feed, they should essentially show up on CBC Worldwide. If they don't, then also get over to that help desk. So great question. I anticipate, as with all technology, when we launch ColdwellBanker.com on April 24th, it may be the same thing. We may have agents go missing. We may have everything correct in our systems and they're just not showing correct. So, you know, give it a day or two, give it to the 25th, 26th, perhaps. Check Dash, make sure everything looks good there, and then go ahead and reach out. help@coldwellbanker.com for Coldwell Banker help. help@cbcworldwide.com for commercial help. Again, I'm here, Jessica's here, Kelly, Elizabeth, JD, the entire marketing group. I know I'm missing people, but you have a good team, so don't hesitate to reach out. Your RSCs can help as well. So, but give it a day or two. There's glitches, it's going to happen. Sue asked if we edit our office info on CBC Worldwide the same way as before. Yeah, that's all done through Dash. So if you have the correct status, and if you don't, let me know. But when you go to brokerage and edit, brokerage home, and it make changes so I can discard them. and you go into your office and update office, that's what's going to feed both coldwellbanker.com profile and CBC Worldwide profile. But you'll see some of these boxes are grayed out and you can't change them. I can't change them, as you can see. So we have to go over to Paula and ask her to update those. But that is essentially for anything that says area served, profile, media, that will feed the profile pages on both coldwellbanker.com and cbcworldwide.com. So good question there. If the links lost formatting, and bear with me, it's been a hot second. I think that is in, help me if you want to unmute, I think right here, no, yeah, right here. So if you've lost formatting, if that's an old link on this particular page, you can update that. And so if it lets you edit, go ahead. If not, screenshot it and get it over to me or to Paula directly, and we'll get that updated. Good questions, you guys. What else?
I do kind of have a question because it always confuses me, but I know we update everything in Account Tech, but there is a direct feed from the MLS. What does that mean for us? Anything?
For listings?
Yeah.
Yeah, it means a lot to us, actually. It's a great question. So the MLS feeds everything, right? It feeds Account Tech. Account Tech does feed Dash. Any of our websites, Moxie, Coldwell Banker, CBC, even though there's certain fields, and again, until we relaunch, I'm not real certain what that means on coldwellbanker.com, even though Dash can be enhanced, those websites are fed from the MLS directly. And I'm going to redo the flow chart. Don't worry. I need to make sure that it's clear once it relaunches that it's the right way. So MLS will feed Account Tech. Account Tech feeds Dash, but it's directly feeding our Moxie sites. It's directly feeding coldwellbanker.com, and it's directly feeding cbcworldwide.com. Now, current state, we know that we could go into Dash, well, Account Tech, we could update photos, we could put in, certain information like videos, virtual tours, and that would feed out. That, as of today, holds true for coldwellbanker.com. It doesn't hold true for Moxie. Moxie gets the listings via the IDX feed. Any changes you make in Dash to listings doesn't affect Moxie. So if there's listing issues on Moxie, you have to go to the Moxie help desk. I'm not real sure, and they have not told us yet on coldwellbanker.com if that Dash overwrite it is still going to be available. I just don't know yet. As soon as we know, of course, we'll do another training and we'll get that listing flow chart updated because it is changing. So that's a great question because it is super confusing on what feeds what, how it gets there, how the systems talk. Is it forward only? Is it forward and backwards? So lots of questions there. Hopefully that answered that question, Jessica.
Yeah, it gets me every time because it may not be in Account Tech, but it's on the website. And I know there's, that direct feed, but there is one in there too, Tia.
We will get a new one too, Tia. We'll make sure that the commercial flow chart is updated because again, it is a new site. I want to make sure that nothing has changed. But essentially we know for a fact, MLS feeds Account Tech feeds Dash. After that, there's a lot of direct MLS feeds that go directly to those websites. Zillow, coldwellbanker.com, cbcworldwide.com, all of our Moxie sites, a bunch of other syndications. So yeah, we will definitely get that out as soon as these changes come and we make sure that we're clear on it. Good questions. Anything else? Best thing you can do today is to get into Dash, which I'm in Dash right here. Go to your people home. If you are in more than one office, you may see more people, but essentially it should be just your office agents. And you can go into them and view their details, make sure they have a media headshot, make sure their ID is correct, and make sure their personal profile is loaded. Again, we should be in pretty good position here because we just went through all of this after the Moxie migration. So if you have some downtime between now and the 24th, go ahead and jump into Dash and check that out. But keep in mind, any changes you're going to want to do on Account Tech. So you can have two windows open, two screens. You see an issue, you jump into Account Tech and fix it. But if you fix it in Dash, it's just going to override it. So let's not spin our tires on that. But we do highly encourage you to go in and make sure all of your agents are reflecting correctly in Dash. And any changes that do have to happen, does have to happen to Account Tech. We'll give it just another minute. It's a lot of information. I know. If I could have chose to not do the migration at the same time that we're launching Leads Engine and coldwellbanker.com, absolutely had that vote. It was not my decision. It's a lot right now. We're all in it together. I guarantee if you see an issue, most likely somebody else has. So never, never hesitate to reach out. All right. Well, I see nothing else. As always, I'm here. Reach out after the fact. I am recording this. I know we have a lot of our amazing ASCs that are at some Casino Royale parties here in Michigan. So I'll get the recording out when you review it. If you're like, well, hold on, that made no sense. Don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks you guys so much. Hope to see you on BlueSync tomorrow when we talk about logos and the new marketing center and just great new technology that keeps coming our way to help our agents be successful. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon.